Yes, guys, welcome back to another episode on the Coach Approach podcast. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about training to failure, hard training. When is it necessary? What is going to give us our best bang for our buck when we are wanting to build muscle, create shape in our body, look at getting that toned look, building the glutes, building the back, building the biceps, all of that type of stuff. If you're female, male, it all applies. And I think this is a topic where not many people really understand that growing your physique isn't built in a calorie deficit. You're when people look at being toned, should we say, or having that lean look, you need muscle. And how do we build muscle? It isn't just going to the gym and that's it. Because there are so many people that go to the gym that look no different to if they weren't going to go to the gym. Maybe 1 or 2% better. So there's a reason for that. And most, I would say honestly, 99% of people need to be building muscle before they even go in a calorie deficit, depending on your situation as well, obviously, and your body fat percentage. But let's say you've got a person who's never really trained properly in their life, wants to get really, really ripped and lean. Um, they haven't got any muscle tissue. So when they do get lean or they do lose like 5, 10 kilos, what do they have to show for it? And that will come down to your training. All of my clients that I have over time, will always go through a gaining phase to show them what is doable and what they can achieve through muscle building. Because the more muscle you have, the healthier you are, the better your immune system, the better you look, the more confident you are, honestly. And people think you can just pick up a dumbbell and you gain loads of muscle. It just could not be further. I wish it was the case, to be honest. I wish it was really, really easy. It's not that easy to build muscle, to be honest. It's easier to maintain it, but it's harder to gain it in the first place. And 99% of us need to be eating in a bit of a surplus, so eating a little bit more than your body needs, high protein. But all of that type of stuff is for another conversation. Today, I'm just going to be talking about that training to failure point and why so many people don't do it and can't do it and don't understand it. So, I always tell clients, I need you training harder. I need you training to failure. Why do we need to train to failure? We need to create mechanical tension, is what we call it in technical term, in the muscle. We need to get. I'm gonna explain this really simply. Let's say you're doing a bicep curl and you're training hard, you think you're training hard. I need you to go until you cannot bring your wrist up more than halfway. Why is that the case? Because in your bicep, let's say it's like an army of let's just say an army of people in your bicep. We want all of the army done, like killed off pretty much. We don't want it, we don't want to still be able to do loads of reps, or should we say, let's say we got to 8 reps, but we still had like 5 or 6 reps left. You're not creating enough tension in that muscle to force an adaptation for it, giving it a reason to grow. Now I can grab a heavy thing and just whack out some bicep curls. We need to get to this failure point because research says, and it's been proven, the last 5 reps from failure, mechanical failure, where the muscle cannot do any more than it's required to do or more than it's wanting to do, the last 5 reps from failure are the money makers. Those are the reps that count. They are the golden reps. And you can build muscle 5 reps of shy from failure. So let's say an example again. Let's do a leg press because it's easy. 100 kilos. You're doing 100 kilos and your rep range is 8 to 12. And it's me. Let's say it's me. And I'm going and I'm going. I'm getting to 7 and I'm nearly did. I'm starting to lose my energy here. My legs are about to give way, and then I get to 9 reps and I literally cannot push my legs anymore. There is nothing left. I managed to just squeeze out that last rep. So that's the ninth rep. That's my failure point. I have just collected 5 golden reps because I trained to that failure point where my muscles could not push that anymore. And that is what needs to be accumulated every week, every session over the months. And it's accumulation of collecting those golden reps over time that creates, let's say, new muscle tissue. I'm not going to be technical with everything. I'm going to keep it really, really simple. And there are a lot of people that will go in there, do a leg press, 8 to 12 reps, and not even go close to the point where their muscles are uncomfortable. You need to start feeling that burn. You need to get comfortable in being uncomfortable when it gets tough. You don't want to crash out before it gets tough because you're not collecting these reps, these golden reps, the reps that count, the effective reps. So training to failure, it's a skill. Don't get me wrong, it's a skill, and this is why I do videos with clients because I can really see when they're approaching to that failure point. I'll see their speed of the rep or the rep of the speed of the rep slow down, like the last two or three. I'll know that when their form is starting to break down, I'll know that they are close to that point that they cannot push or pull anymore. And I'm like, yes, there we go. We've collected probably about three reps from failure there. So that's two effective reps. Or should we say you trained to maybe one or two reps to failure? That's three or four collected golden nugget reps. So you guys are not made of glass. Although, there are going to be situations where you're going to not maybe go to that failure point. And I'll give you an example. Leg press probably, oh no, a squat, a free bar barbell squat. You don't want the barbell to just crush you because you can't crash out of it unless you've got some safety bars. A leg press probably if you don't really want to have that coming all the way down and nearly breaking your leg. A Romanian deadlift could be a reason why not to do that as well. A Smith squat if you haven't got the safety clips on. So your massive compound lifts that can cause injury quite easily if you're not getting out of it safely, probably best to to shy away from it. Have that one rep in reserve, one rep from failure, two reps from failure. It's probably a good idea. Where is it a good time to absolutely go to war with these exercises? Maybe a dumbbell lateral raise, a machine row, a machine chest press. Because when you finish, and if you're watching on YouTube, say I'm pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, pushing, I can't push anymore. I just go back and it's done. It's not going to crush me or anything. Like my muscles are absolutely done. I've gone to that absolute failure point. I've gone to fucking war. And females and males need to, females as well. Females, you need to do this because that's what create. You see that favorite influencer, the favorite person that you can see online who's got an incredible physique. That is not built in just being in a deficit. They have been built in a growth phase, training hard, training to failure for a long period of time. And it's not like you're going to do this in 12 weeks, 16 weeks. It's over and over and over again for years and years and years. Some people respond better, some people's execution is better, some people it takes a bit more time to get that execution right and that stimulation of that muscle. Some people just get it straight away. So, training to failure is the number one, the most important thing to build muscle for males and females. Females, if you don't want to get uncomfortable in the gym, then carry on looking the way that you will always look, because other people, other females are just going to completely run away with it. Train to failure, feel good, feel more confident, build those glutes. And if you don't want to train to failure, don't bother training. Okay, you can go into the gym and make no progress whatsoever. I know it. I've seen loads of people in the gym that are exactly the same than they were 3 years ago. So training to failure is a skill. There are situations where like free weight stuff, you probably won't want to do it, like maybe a barbell bench press as well with no spotter. It makes sense in machines because it's easy to crash out with. Bicep, tricep exercises, definitely key, definitely easy to do so. And you always want to remember, am I 5 reps away from failure? Am I 5 reps away that my muscle cannot physically push or pull this weight anymore? And if you think you are, video yourself. Video yourself and have a look at your technique. Obviously, your technique and form is still important, by the way. I haven't even touched on that, but you want your technique and form to pretty much be there. But film yourself. Have a look and actually see if what's breaking down. Look at your speed of your reps. If you're serious about physique development, you will do this type of stuff. I do it. My clients do it. And why do we all have great physiques? Because we're putting the effort into it. We're training to failure. Um, and that point, when in a training to failure, you should be doing it in a cutting phase and a muscle building phase. Okay. In a cutting phase, you're just retaining any muscle that you have. And if you haven't got any muscle, then you shouldn't really be doing too much of a cutting phase. You need to be building muscle, spending the majority of the time getting whammo, long growth phases. And if you get too fat, do a little bit of a mini cut. That's what I want you guys to do. So training to failure is so important. If you don't want to do it, then continue looking exactly the same. Progressive overload. You need to be gaining in reps or weight over time with your logbook. And I go on about this logbook so much. And the people that don't, it absolutely makes me laugh because I actually had someone about 5 weeks ago come up to me going, "That's all a load of rubbish." And I was like, "Oh, really? Why?" He goes, "Oh, so I don't even bother with a logbook." I went, and I didn't want to be rude, and I didn't actually say it. I went, okay, that's fair enough. It's a guy who looked terrible, awful. And I'm like, if you actually logged your lifts and you were progressively overloading and you were going into the gym with purpose and you knew what numbers you needed to beat every week, you might not look like shit. So you want logbook is not just to is not just to keep a track of your numbers. It's that motivation for every time you go into the gym, you know what you're trying to do, you know what you're trying to achieve, you have a purpose. Like today, I went in and did a push session. I had my fly, my machine chest press, we had my dumbbell press, we had my incline press, we had my dumbbell lateral raise, my tricep. I had my logbook on my phone and I like, right, this is what I did last week. Let me try and beat it by either a rep or two or even a little bit of weight. So progressive overload in simple terms is going up in weight or reps most days, most weeks, but also you've got to be taking in consideration that not every week will be progressive, but most weeks want to be progressive. Last week, I'll give you a great example here. Last week, my dumbbell chest press went down a rep and a half actually, on both sets. Because I was like, damn, like I've actually done worse than I did last week. And I just laughed it off. I was like, right, whatever. It was just a one-off. Is what it is. I got to the point where I could not push my chest anymore. So I actually brought my chest to mechanical failure. It was at that point that it literally couldn't do anymore, regardless of my logbook. This week, and that was last week, I got 6 reps. This week, I got 9 reps. I got 3 extra reps on both sets. I was like, yeah, I'm feeling great. Let's go. Now I've got permission for myself to now my rep range was 6 to 9 at 35 kilos. Next week I'm going up to 37.5 kilos to start off and try and get 6. So you want to try and go up in a rep or a little bit of weight each time. Not on maybe all sets. Let's say you got 3 sets of every exercise. For me personally, a lot of my top sets, like my first and second set, will generally most of the time be progressed. Not all the time. I may have the same number, depending how the first set goes. And then the third set sometimes actually stays the same weight, but maybe one extra rep. So you've got to play around with this. You've got your logbook. Your logbook is your guide. The logbook is like, this is what you did last week. How are we feeling this week? You might be more stressed, you might be more less you might have less hydration, might not have enough food in you. There'll be a lot of factors, stress as well. There might be a lot of factors that affect your training ability as well. But this is where you auto-regulate your days and go, am I feeling good today? Right, let's just see how my warm-up goes. You know what? I'm feeling fucking good. Let's get fucking into this. Um, and that's where you go. You training to failure. Remember, your muscles don't actually know numbers as well. So I'm actually going to counter argument this point I'm making. Now, muscles don't know numbers. Whilst the logbook is a great motivator, great purpose, this is what you're going to do. If you don't beat your numbers, but you got to that point that you could not push anymore and you actually regressed, maybe one day or one week on some exercises, you've pushed that muscle to the point it couldn't do anything anymore. So what did I say at the beginning? Train to failure. Train to the point that these muscles, let's say the army in your muscles, have got nothing left. They've got no army left. And that's what creates change. So therefore, you have still created mechanical tension in the muscle and trained to that failure point and collected some effective reps. So it's not always having to grow up, progress, and go up in reps or weight every week, because it's sometimes impossible, because you might actually regress but still create that mechanical tension that is needed. What you don't want to be doing is the same weight and the same reps every single week for 6 weeks. Like that's awful. Found that on a client. I double checked her logbook and another guy's logbook. So for 3 to 6 weeks, they didn't change anything. They were doing exactly the same weight and reps every time. I was like, no, 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 no. You need to be pushing now. There's no way that you stay on those numbers. You need to give the body a reason to adapt. And I had this joke this morning with someone in the gym. It never gets easier. It always gets harder every single week. But that's what creates change in your physique. You're forcing the body to adapt. You're forcing the body to needing to make a change to deal with the exposure you're giving it with the reps and load. Remember, this training is a stressor. We need to put stress on the body to force adaptation, but it's a good stressor. So that is training to failure. Everyone should be doing it. Every female should do it. You are not going to get bulky. It is an absolute myth. And if you want big glutes and you want a nice back, every female needs to be training to the point of failure. Hard training, rep ranges don't really matter. I like the 6 to 12 rep range. I think it's great. You need to be logbooking, progressing your numbers, going in with purpose. Every single person I speak to who doesn't logbook doesn't really have that much interest in training. When you start having a logbook, you actually have a purpose, and then you actually get more excited to get into the training, into your training sessions. So, and that's evident in everyone I speak to, even people that have got all right physiques, they've got lost their way. They come to me, logbook. Ah, I didn't know we would need to do this. I feel incredible, feel better. I'm getting stronger. I feel unreal. So logbook is key. Mechanical tension, failure. The last 5 reps from failure are the most important reps. Make sure you're pushing to the point that your muscles cannot go anymore, and collect those golden nugget reps. Let's say 10 reps is your failure point. Your 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 reps, anywhere between there, is money makers. Collect them over time. It takes time to build muscle. Don't expect to have the physique of your dreams in 12 weeks. It takes years, this stuff. But if you collect this starting it now, you will start seeing incredible results. So progressively overload, train fucking hard every single exercise that you do, logbook your lifts, and you will start to see a massive change in your physique. Make sure your hydration is good, make sure you're eating a good amount, make sure your protein's on point, make sure you're trying to get good enough sleep, and then just having fun while you do it. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Have a fantastic rest of the day, and I'll speak to you guys soon.